Gay Say Radio, where you are family. I'm chatting to Freddy Nyezi from UCT Sax Appeal. We're going to be talking all about Sax Appeal today and what it's all about. So, Freddy, can you first just introduce yourself and let me know what you do at UCT at Sax Appeal?
Hi, Ethan. Thank you so much for having me on your show. I'm Freddy Nyezi, and I'm working with UCT RAG under the division of Sax Appeal, and I'm responsible for the marketing of Sax Appeal.
So, for somebody who doesn't know, what is Sax Appeal?
Sax Appeal is basically a magazine that was organized by UCT RAG. And what we do with the magazine is that each year we have a specific theme. And the magazine is basically like a compilation of comedic and satirical writing. And every single year, on one day in every single year, we sell the magazine to Cape Town. And all the proceeds then go to an NPO called Shoko.
Perfect. And then can you tell us a little bit more about UCT RAG?
UCT RAG is a student-run development agency. For now, we create like parties and events like Sax Appeal and like student parties as well, where we raise money and contact sponsors to help us fund these parties. And what we do with that money as well, that money goes to Shoko, which is a health and wellness organization.
Talk to us about the name Sax Appeal. For someone who isn't from UCT, you might be kind of confused as to what that name means and why it's kind of provocative.
Our name is actually really for that purpose, to be provocative. So Sax Appeal, S-A-X, is basically a play on the word or the term sex appeal. And really what we're wanting to do with this magazine and what we've been doing with it is just being provocative and evocative at the same time, and tackling issues that aren't always easy to talk about, using comedy and satire as a device to spark that conversation.
So I think UCT is kind of renowned as one of the more liberal universities in the country. But in the past, there have been some criticisms about, people dressing up like women and selling magazines. And I think that times have changed. And I just want to understand what Sax Appeal's kind of stance is now on some of those controversial issues.
So we've definitely looked into that, and we've definitely wanted to change direction from that, because what happens every year is that Sax Appeal has a theme and people dress up according to that. But what we're wanting to discourage is people who don't identify as trans necessarily, but want to cross-dress and aren't even queer for that matter, and make it seem as a performance instead of a lifestyle, and as well people who dress up in terms of like looking like prostitutes. And that rather takes away from like the struggles of someone who earns a living through prostitution. And we wanted to very much distance ourselves from styling our magazine in that way, because it definitely disadvantages and just generally just like changes the discourses of people who live in that type of way, and it very much puts them in a bad light, and we wanted like to change from that direction. And I very much think that we have changed from that direction in terms of communicating how we want people to dress according to our themes and what is acceptable and what isn't.
I think ever since last year, from what I can see, things have really moved in a more like responsible direction from you guys, while still retaining the controversy and still retaining the fun. Like, you don't need to lose that. But I think I'd like to applaud you guys in kind of understanding why certain things were problematic in the past and how to move beyond that.
Thank you so much.
So tell us about this year's theme.
This year's theme is called Sax with Meme, Break the Internet.
Okay.
And what that is, Sax with Meme, is a play on the term sex with me. And our theme is basically inspired by the evolution of the digital world, and as well having dialogue around sex and sexuality. And our theme is very much designed to ensure that the reader is both intrigued and uncomfortable. And very much the 86th edition of Sax Appeal aims to encourage robust debate and discussion around the intersection of the digital evolution and sexuality.
So we're talking about making your audience feel uncomfortable, and I think that's something that like a university publication should be doing. Tell us about some of the stuff that you guys cover, and just enlighten us a bit more about that.
Basically what we cover in the magazine, I'll talk about the uncomfortable factor first. It's not about estranging people, but more of having uncomfortable conversations that people definitely have questions about, but haven't felt comfortable enough or safe enough to address those questions and address those issues. And what we're talking about in this year's magazine is, of course, like the intersections between like the digital world and sexuality, And some of the topics that we cover are like the pornography that people watch, and traditional and non-traditional genders, and like society's hypersexualization in contrast to sex shaming. But in a more responsible way as well, we talk about ways in which you can have safer sex as well, and just like fluidity of sexuality and like everything within the spectrum of sex, and how conversations of sex in the 21st century are now intersecting with fast developing technology and the digital world.
So when is Sax Appeal?
This year's Sax Appeal is going to be hitting the streets of Cape Town on the 7th of February.
Can you give us a bit of an overview of some of the people who write for Sax Appeal?
We usually get our star fighters first, and then we put up like posts on our social medias, and we usually get writers from UCT. But we're always welcoming people from outside of UCT and even outside of the Western Cape as well.
And how often do you guys release?
So Sax Appeal is an annual magazine, so we only release once every single year.
But then talk to me about your online and social media presence.
So we can be found on the UCT RAG Twitter and Instagram pages. The Instagram account for UCT RAG is at uct.rag, and the Twitter account is at uctrag90.
And then finally, for all of us who aren't in Cape Town, how do we get a copy?
Definitely, you can email us at sax.rag@uct.ac.za in terms of getting a soft copy, and we can definitely like arrange a form of payment, and then we will get the soft copy to you.
Perfect. So again, 7th of February, Sax is dropping. So if you're in Cape Town right now, you better look out. That was Freddy Nyezi chatting to us about UCT Sax Appeal. Don't forget to go check out their social media platforms or email them if you want to get a copy. This is KSA Radio with your family. My name is Ethan.